Hi and welcome back to Darvanalee Design Studio. My name's Nicole Reed. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and that way you won't miss out on any future posts. Now today we're going to be working on these cute little accordion pouches. It is hack number 2 for the Shabby Fabrics Accordion Pouch. So I just want to state up front that this is not my pattern. Originally this was a Shabby Fabrics pattern and they had it at 100%, and I'm going to show you how to turn it into a cute little pouch. So to show you the comparison, I've got the one that is at 100% here, so you can see that that's a decent sized pouch. You can fit anything you want in there, some needles or some wonder clips or thimbles, whatever you want to put in there. But this one is a reduced size of it, and I'm going to show you the quick and simple way to do that. We're going to use the same hacks that we used in the first video, which was for the 100% size, and then I'm going to show you how to do this one. So look at that, so cute. It's just a little one. Alrighty, so let's get started. Okay, so as I said in the intro, this is not my pattern. This is a Shabby Fabrics pattern, but these are just some of the hacks that I do to this particular pattern. I do really love this pattern, and I originally found it when it first came out, and I have made many of them since then, and I'm just basically going to show you some of the different things that I do to this particular pattern. So underneath this video you'll find a link to this Shabby Fabrics page that you can see right now. It's their free downloads, and you'll have to scroll down a ways till you come across it, and this is what it looks like just here. Okay, so once you're at this page, you can just click on that diagram and it's going to open up to another page, and here it is here. So you can see there that they've got all their the pockets and also the outside of the pouch. So what we're going to do is we're going to then download it, not print it off straight away, download it to our computer, and that will open up, and then I'll just go to my documents, and then I'll go down to my wherever you store your stuff. I have bag patterns, and it's generally stuff that is free, and you can see here that I actually have a Shabby Fabrics folder, and if I click on that, that will actually open up, and you can see here that I've already downloaded the accordion pouch because I've made many of them. So today what we're doing is I'm going to show you what I do to make a smaller accordion pouch. So all I do is, I'll just get out of there now, and that's basically all you've got to do is download it to your computer. Then once you've downloaded it to your computer, go to your file section. It possibly could open up in Adobe Reader straight away for you. So all I do is find my folder that I saved it to, and I go to Shabby Fabrics, and then I click on this, and this will open it up in Adobe. Now you'll have to excuse my computer, it's very slow, and I do apologize for the poor recording of this part, but it's just the way it is at the moment with my computer. It's just not running my OBS for me at the moment, so I'm in the process of getting a new computer for that. Okay, so then what I do is, it's opened up in just how it opens up in my computer. I generally bring it down to 100%. But now I'm going to go over to here. We're ready to print it off. I click on the file and wait for that drop box to come down. And of course, Adobe's not responding when I need it to, but there we go. And we go down to the print. Click on the print. And then the drop box that opens up for Adobe when you're going to print will take its time sometimes, but it will open up shortly. Okay, so once this is opened up, you can see here that it has actually gone to custom scale of 100%. So what I want to do right now is basically I just want to change this number, and all I do is I just click on that and I change it to 80 because we're going to print it off at 80%. So if I print it off at 100, I'll get 2 pages. If I print it off at 80%, I'll get 2 pages again because it's small enough to fit on the page. But if you're scaling up, like I will be in future videos, I will show you how to scale up as well. It's exactly the same. you will actually have to join your templates together. But as I said, that's for our next video. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to change that to 80%, and then I just hit print, and it will start to print in just a moment. Okay, so here you go. You can see the two differences. So this one here is printed at what it opens up at for when I go to print. So that's what Shabby Fabrics had it at. And then this one here is the one that I have scaled down to 80%. So you can see it's a little bit smaller. Okay, but it doesn't make it any harder to sew. We're going to still use the same hacks that we used in our first video, where we just have it nice and neat and we just sew all the way around. So if you haven't watched that video, I will card that up the top here. So where I'm pointing to, a little information symbol should pop out about now, and then you can click on that and go and watch the first video that I've done, just to give you those hacks to make it just that little bit quicker sew. Now, you can also cut out your, you can use this as a template as well, but the measurements for it are 4 inches by 6 3/8, and you can round that down to a quarter if you want to, down to a quarter or up to a half. It's up to you. But I generally just stick to that measurement, and it works really well for me. So I'm going to get all my fabrics together and we're going to get started on that. Okay, so you're going to need a few things today. You're going to need some exterior fabric, you're going to need some lining fabric, and you're also going to need some fabric for your pockets. You're going to need some Pellin Shape Flex 101, and that's a woven interfacing, and you're also going to need some fusible fleece. You're going to need your template from Shabby Fabrics website. You're also going to need some cam snaps as a closure, a setting tool for those, some fabric scissors, a turning tool, a marking device and quilting ruler, some pins and a pair of pinking shears, some thread zips if you need it, and my favorite glue, the Ultimate Glue by Crafter's Pick. Alrighty, so basically what I've done is I have printed off 2 of these templates here, and we're going to make 1 template, because I am actually where we don't put it on the fold, because I'm actually using 10-inch squares today, and I'll show you how that fits perfectly onto a 10-inch square. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your exterior fabric and you're going to put your fusible fleece onto that, and then your lining fabric, you'll put your Shape Flex 101 on that, and your 2 pockets that you're going to cut out of your other 10-inch square, one will have the fusible fleece on it and one will have the Shape Flex. So I'm going to head off camera and do that. Okay, so we've put our fusible fleece on one of our pockets and our Shape Flex on the other one, and we're going to place them right sides together and just set them aside just for a second. And then we've also got our exterior fabric with the fusible fleece on it and the Shape Flex 101 on our lining fabric. And now what we're going to do, because this is a directional fabric, we're going to have a look at how it's going to play out. So you can see here that the template fits nicely onto a 10-inch square, and I just want to make sure that because this is the flat part of your pouch, that it's going to be facing the right way. And you can see here that it's not going to face the right way. So what I need to do is actually spin my directional fabric so it's facing upside down on my cutting board, place my template on there, and then you can see when I bring this down, all my butterflies are going the right direction. And I want to do the same thing for my lining fabric as well. So I just want to be very aware of how it's going to be. So this is the outside fabric and it is going to face the right way, but with my lining fabric, it will actually be the opposite. So instead of my raindrops going upside down, I'm actually going to put them the right way out, because that is how it's going to be in the pouch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place them both together. I'm not going to be too concerned about my lining fabric at this stage. I do know that the raindrops will be facing the right way on the flap when it's opened up, and you can see there that my butterflies are still going the same way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that they're lining up properly, and then I'm going to put my template on top of that. And you can see there that it fits just beautifully on a 10-inch square for both of them. And it's great because you always end up with 10-inch squares left over, and this is a great way to use them up. Alright, so I'm going to grab a couple of pins and I'm going to pin that into place. just like so, making sure that it's all sitting nice and flat and there's no creases in the fabric underneath. And I can see that that's sitting quite nicely. So then I'll just grab my fabric scissors and then I will start cutting that out. Now I don't want to cut on the paper. And here you go, this is one that I prepared earlier. So now you can see there that I've got my 2 template pieces and I've got my 2 pocket pieces for this one. And now what I'm going to do is make some markings. So with my lining fabrics, and they're the ones that have got the Shapeflex 101 on it, not the fluffy fusible fleece. And then all I'm going to do is fold it in half and make a crease. And then on the side of the interfacing, I'm going to grab my marking tool and my little ruler, and in the center, I'm just going to put a 2-inch mark. Now I'm just going to put these little marks at the end, and I know that I can't go past that point. And now the same with the pouch part of the lining, I'm going to fold that in half, making sure that the bottom edge of your pouch is coming up just underneath the closure. And then again, I'm going to make a 2-inch turning gap. So I don't want to make it over here, I want to make it in the center here. And it's about 2 inches is good enough, 2 1/4. So I can see here that if I drew a line, I can see that this mark is within that closure part. And then again, I'm just going to put 2 little marks. And then I'm going to grab my fabric scissors, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little nick on that, just enough to get my scissors through. You're going to make it all the way through, not just on the interfacing. Then you're just going to cut on that line. And you're not going to go past that other mark that you've made. Okay, and then you're going to do the same on the lining of the pocket. So just where you've made that first mark, make a little snip, enough to get your scissors in, and then just cut on that line. Alright, so that's our turning hole. So now what we're going to do is assemble the pouch. So basically we just place the pockets right size together, pop some pins in there and set that aside, and then grab our exterior fabric and our lining fabric for the pouch, and then again we're just going to pop some pins in there, getting ready to sew. So what you're going to do is head over to the sewing machine, and using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we're going to sew all the way around on both pieces, just taking care to around your curves. Just take it nice and slow if you've not sewed curves before. Okay, so we've done that now. Now what we need to do is grab our pinking shears, and you can see there that I've just stitched all the way around, and I'm just going to grab my pinking shears and just snip around the curves. And when I get to this little junction here, I'm just going to grab my fabric scissors and gently snip into that, but not going into the threads at all, just snipping just before it. And that will just make it easier when we come to turning up here to do the pinking, and it'll also make it turn a lot nicer too when you turn it right way out. We've done this, we'll be turning it right way out, and then we'll head to the sewing machine and we will top stitch all our pieces. Okay, so you can see there that we've done that. Now what we do is we just reach in and turn them right way out. Get your corners all the way out, and I like to run along my seams just to make sure that they're all even and nice, and make a nicer finish. And then we do the same with our little pouch, being gentle not to pull too hard because you don't want to rip your fabric or anything like that. Although if it does do a little bit of a rip, it's okay because you won't actually see it. Again, you're just going to run your fingers along your seam to make sure that everything is poked out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the ironing board, and I'm going to give this a really good press before I top stitch it. Just really make sure that all your seams are out and you've got a nice curve happening. You can see that that is all pressed, and we're ready to head over to the sewing machine. So what you're going to do now on your sewing machine, you're going to lengthen your stitch length to about a 3 to a 3.2 millimeter, and then you're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And you're going to do that on both the outer and also the pocket. Okay, so you can see there that I have top stitched that all down on both the pocket and also the lining. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place our pocket into our pouch. So you've got these two little cut marks, and what you're going to do is line them up. And what will happen is the edge of your pocket will sit just on the top stitching along the bottom here. And if you put your finger where the marks are, you can see that they're going to actually be concealed. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some flat pins, and you're going to place one at the top and one at the bottom. Okay, so you're just going to grab your ruler, and you've got your marking device, and what you're going to do is you're just going to measure your pocket, and it should be nearly 6 inches. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to make a mark at 3 inches, and then what you're going to do on your ruler, depending on what ruler you've got, you're going to place your 1/2 inch mark on that little line. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw down either side of your ruler, and then you're going to make a rectangle. And what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and we're going to stitch down on that rectangle, and that's going to secure our pocket in place. Okay, so you can see there that I've stitched that down in place, and now our pocket is secure. So now we're up to the final assembly. So for the final assembly, you're going to need your ultimate glue, and you're also going to need some pins or wonder clips. I prefer to use wonder clips because it just makes it a lot easier to put them together. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our template piece, and we're going to place it on top of our pouch, and we're going to match the curved edge up with the curved edge. Then you're going to get your pencil, and you're just going to make a couple of marks. Now generally I put marks there, but you can use pins if you want to, and just place them in there where those lines come out to. And you're just going to turn it around, and you're going to match up this side as well. So you can see there that they are aligning up. So then we just pop our pins in where the marks are there on the opposite side. And now we know that they're in the correct position. So now what I do is this is where I sort of just play around with the purse to make sure that I'm getting it sitting right and all the rest of it. And I just bring up where that pin is to the edge of that pocket, and I just grab a wonder clip and pop it on there. And I do the same for the opposite side, and then I bring the bottom piece up as well. And at this point in time, you can actually just remove the pins that you had holding in there, or the marks will come off when you press it anyway. Okay, so you can see there that my little pocket's coming together quite nicely, and now what I want to do is make sure that it's all coming in and sitting properly before I put any glue on it. So I can see that that's going to sit quite nicely. You can't get it to close quite as well as it should with the wonder clips there, but you can see there that that is actually going to close up quite nicely. But I need to play around a little bit more with this side. It's just not sitting properly. So I'm happy with how that's sitting. I'm going to now put my glue in there, and all I do is I grab my ultimate glue, and I just do one side at a time, and I do put a little bit of glue just here at the front as well, and that gives me that little extra pocket just in there. But I start at the back with this one here, and on that crease, let's get that to come down a bit, I put a little bit of glue. Now a little goes a long way with this glue, and then I put that side back in there again, making sure that it's all lining up and it's nice and tight through here. Then I grab my wonder clip and I put one down towards the bottom and then one at the top. And I know that that's going to hold it all the way down with the glue. Then I go to the opposite side, and again I just put a bead of glue into that crease, and then I get my edge of my pocket and put it into that glue and line everything up. And again, a wonder clip down the bottom and a wonder clip up the top. Now it will take a little while for this glue to dry, so you will just at this point we'll put our little cam snap in after we've done all our gluing, and then you just sit it aside and it'll be ready to go within about 24 hours. I generally let it sit, and then it'll be ready to put some wonder clips in, and away you go. Okay, so when we put our cam snap in, I just eyeball this. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but I just sort of find the center of my closure, and I just put, in this case I can see there that that's quite centered because it's between the two butterflies and the bottom butterfly here, and I'm just going to put a little mark there, and then I'm going to get my tailor's awl and I'm going to just pop a hole through there. And then I'll just get one of my cam snaps and pop that through that hole. And then I grab my male end of the cam snap and then my tool, and I place that on there like so. And then this black part of the tool sits on the rounded piece of the snap, and then I just line it all up and give it a gentle squeeze, and then that cam snap is on there. Now you don't want to squeeze too hard because you will crack them, so you want to be very careful of that. And then I just, to line up where it's going to go, I basically just roll it over, and I can see that that's going to sit there quite nicely, and I just eyeball where it's sitting, grab my pencil and then just make a mark there. And again I grab my tailor's awl, poke a hole, grab the other part of the cam snap, and that flat bit goes on the inside this time. And then I get the female part and place that on there, and then I just grab the tool and do exactly the same thing. Okay, so 24 hours has passed, and as you can see here, they're all ready to go and ready to be used, and I've got some wonder clips in there already, and I've only got about 8 in there, but you can see that it would hold quite a few in there, and it's perfect to just chuck into your little travel kit, and it keeps all your wonder clips. I even have packets of needles in mine, some thimbles and stuff like that, use them for hand sewing. So you can see here that these are the smaller ones that we've done, and then you can see the size difference between that was at 100%, and then that is the 80%. And if you wanted to enlarge it, you'd just go higher than 100%. The next tutorial that we have for this will be showing you how to enlarge it, and some different techniques that you can do to turn it into something a little bit more than just a pouch. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me today. I really do hope you enjoyed how to make your little accordion pouch a lot smaller. Join us again for our next number 3 hack. We're going to make it larger, and we're going to add a few things into it, so it's just not a pouch, it's got a few little extra bits to it as well. So until next time, I hope that you liked this video, and if you did, give us a thumbs up down below, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and that way you won't miss out on any future posts. And as always, we love to hear from you, so please leave a comment down below. And for those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed for Darvanalee Design Studio, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.